30 seconds or so, and then go in. How's the day been going so far? I know it's really early there.
Yep, it's only 7 a.m. here, but it's going good. I'm excited. Thank you for having me for one. Um,
No, it's a,
hopefully my kids will stay on the hush hush because right now they're like crunk right now.
yeah, you told me the last time, so it's better to get
Yeah.
up and get this thing done. Yeah. Yeah. Mine was sleeping, so I ensured that she slept before I go on a call. So let's see. All right. You know what, man? we're just gonna kick off if people join in as and when they join in, and a lot of them would probably catch up in replay. So I'll just put the comment straight up and leave it for now. Oh, baby. Okay, let's kick this off. So, man, thank you again. And you know what? I would probably ask you to give a bit of background for people to know who you are. And because I call you an underdog because you just chat out. And then a lot of people would probably not know who Flip is and probably put some face and get them to know your story because people got to know not everybody has been making money from the time they start working. So let's go on with this.
Right on. So a little bit of backstory about me. I used to work in an aluminum extrusion plant, um, and I worked 12-hour shifts. Both my daughters were born in 2016 and 2017, and at that time I was working, seven, seven, 7 days a week, and 12-hour shifts. I was away from home like 14 to 15 hours a day, and I wasn't feeling it. I've never been a very tech savvy person. I did not start doing anything online until 2017 when my last daughter was born. And I've done many things. I've tried, Amazon drop shipping. I've done the Shopify stuff. I've done ClickBank. Um, my first course online was actually a drop shipping course. So I've tried many different things, trying to get, just trying to find that one thing that was gonna make me money and free me up from not having to work for somebody else. But the thing that really got me was a text message I got from my babysitter while I was at work. It was a text message. The first one was, your daughter just said her first word, so I missed that. I didn't I didn't really like that. Just still thinking about it, missing that kind of hurt. And then I got a video of her taking her first steps, so I missed all of that. And I remember being on the shop floor. It was 108 degrees that day, and I just remember thinking I got to figure something out because I didn't have the greatest childhood growing up as a kid. I was kept away from my dad, and my mom was a full-blown alcoholic, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to be there for my kids and make sure they had the best childhood that I didn't. So that's what drove me, and that's still what drives me today. Um, that's a little bit of background. I used to work really hard, and I got sick of it. So I decided to start learning how to make money online, in my spare time. Now, mind you, I said I used to work 12-hour shifts. I would still come home and put like at least an hour in learning something, personal development, some kind of high income skill. And that's what led me to, high ticket affiliate marketing and how we landed on this interview. So that's a little bit of a backstory for me. Um, Brad, if you got like another question or something, I don't want to keep going
No,
on.
that's fine, man. I mean, I wanted people to hear. I mean, I obviously we spoke about it the other day, and we know what's happening. But I mean, it's these humble beginnings and what drives people to make that change. I mean, that is something which I wanted people to, and it's thank you for sharing that, man. I
Yeah.
mean, not everybody would be comfortable being so vulnerable and sharing, but it's such a powerful thing that missing your baby's first step and not able to make that little time to be there because you don't get these moments back and kind of for me, right? I mean, I today family is everything for me, and a lot of stuff that I've done leaving my corporate job is essentially to be here to spend a lot of time with my family, and that family comes first. So wonderful, man. Now you said that you landed into high ticket affiliate marketing.
Hmm.
You obviously did not come straight off here. You went through different things that you mentioned before. What got you here? I mean, this is something which I generally ask people because people have different reasons. I want to know your reasons of why did you land up here? I mean, what was your reasons to be picking up affiliate as a business?
All right. So I tried those couple things. I'd done drop
Yeah,
shipping, and I quickly realized that, any e-commerce platform, it requires a lot of
yeah,
overhead. And,
yeah,
I had it outsourced to an extent. I didn't have to do anything but cover product cost, which is one big
yeah,
thing. You've done that
yeah,
too. So always
yeah,
having to cover a product cost when you make a sale is just a pain in the ass. All right. So
yeah,
I continued my search and I stumbled across affiliate marketing. Um,
yeah,
and I was looking at the business model. I was like, okay, so, I don't have to create anything. I don't really
yeah,
have to have a fancy website. I don't have to worry with customer service. And I was
yeah,
like, these profit margins are pretty high. So
yeah,
I started with low ticket stuff, stuff on clickbait.
yeah,
And just like everybody else starting out, I'm saying this in hopes to help other people skip this part because I
yeah,
bought I bought into one of those done for you things.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think I paid $500, and then I had to run ads. I had to pay, an ad budget for them to run
yeah,
ads
yeah,
for this low ticket product, and
yeah,
I lost a lot of money there. But
yeah,
I did start making sales. But to be honest, I was upside down on the profit. But
yeah,
my first commission was $23, and
yeah.
I was like, okay, this is real. This works, but I still got to figure out, a better way to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went through a Legendary Marketer. This has been
Uh,
this has been over a year ago. I went through Legendary
yeah,
Marketer, and that was a very solid training for a beginner.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't know about anybody else, but I had that shiny object syndrome. I had
yeah,
that. I was buying stuff left and right. Uh,
yeah,
what finally led me to the high ticket side of it was this actually happened last summer. I went
mm,
into a program called Client Kit, which was based
yeah,
around putting together a coaching offer and client acquisition. And
right.
the entry point for that was $10,800. You know,
Wow.
yeah, it kind of made me squeezy. I was like, good God, that's a lot of money. But
Yeah,
I did it.
yeah.
I did it because I was still in search of that one thing. So this will kind of this
Just,
will
just to stop you there. I mean,
yeah.
did you shift from a $23 straight up to 10K, or did you slowly shift? How's your shift? I mean, I know, like, if I throw a stone out there right now,
Yeah.
a million people will stand up saying low ticket. Okay, so I know they're still doing it and that's still happening, and people are trying to shift, but their shift is like, oh, not 23, probably $100, probably that's. And you have whooped it up, man. $10,000. That's crazy. So how did you go there? Yeah,
All right. So from 23, I've done the simple math.
yeah,
This is what flipped inside or flipped my switch, if you will. Uh,
yeah,
I was like, I've got to
yeah,
make a lot of sales at $23 in order
yeah,
to make a substantial income. And I
right,
started crunching the numbers. I was like, I need a
yeah,
way to, make a couple sales and
yeah,
hit my income goal. So that's what led me to the high ticket side of it. I knew I needed a high quality product, I needed high
yeah,
quality training, and I needed big profit margins. So that's how I made the shift over to high ticket because
yeah,
it makes I'm not a tech guy by no means. I'm just a country guy from Virginia that knew what he wanted. All right. But if you look at the numbers, you don't have to work as hard per se. It still requires work, let me say that. But you don't have to
yeah,
work as hard or make as many sales when you have a high quality, high ticket product that you're promoting. So that's what shifted in my head for me to want to
Yeah.
do high ticket. So that's how I got there.
Awesome, man. And while you were doing the numbers, I was just calculating. So if you want to make 10K, it's going to be about 434 sales in a month.
Yeah.
So I haven't found a lot of people who do that. So it's interesting when people think that they're going to make millions out of it. Really need to think the strategy a couple of times. But I think I want people to hear that. And I know that you, over the last 2 or 3 years, have spent close to $40,000 plus in investment on training and learning and getting coached and being here. And I've done the same. I've done that in probably a year's time now. And to know that it just doesn't happen magically. If you don't invest, you're gonna just increase the learning curve out of you.
Yep.
And if you're all right up here, you probably go through, but most of them just go out thinking
Yep.
that, oh, this shit doesn't work. And and just food for thought for people. If if you don't pay yourself, you cannot ask anybody else to pay you.
Hmm.
Okay, it's so important, and you got to walk the talk. I mean, and this is a good example. I think we have had a couple of people here before on the interview, and it was the same trend, and everybody has invested in themselves, which is so super important. And this is not. I'm not telling you to go and buy something from me or from Flip or any of that stuff, but investment, do whatever you're doing. I mean, that's the idea. Yeah. Man, I mean, one other important thing that a lot of people, struggle with is you started somewhere back in 2017,
Hmm.
and you had a good enough life. You have two daughters, and your switch flipped. A lot of people switch doesn't flip that easily, and they are people jump in with a very different reason. A lot of time, and the main reason people jump in is because to make money, and and then they don't make money. So that's a bigger problem because you jumped in with the reason to make money, and then you don't make money, and then you quit or you get destroyed with this business. So, what was your mindset like, man? I mean, what do your suggestion for people whenever they are getting into your journey has been for last 3 years, and how did you cope up? Because you failed. I mean, you are talking today. We are on 2021.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear about it. This is 2021. You did not start like 6 months back. You started much early on and had all that journey. So this is purely a mindset question for people to, sit that in the head. Hey, people, if you're on live, I can see two people on the live. If you're on live, just put hashtag live and accept StreamYard so that we can see who you are. Okay, and if you're watching on replay, just put hashtag replay. Sorry, man. Okay.
You're fine. You got to do your thing. So it is a very large part of how you think and view yourself, just as much as what you worry about when other people, like, say for instance, I used to constantly worry about what I was posting, like what is my family gonna think, what are my friends gonna think, and that was just limiting beliefs from me. So I started doing this thing called future pacing. If anybody hasn't read the book Psycho Cybernetics, I would highly recommend you go and buy this book. And I am an affiliate marketer. If you need a link, let me know. Other than that, just go back from Amazon. Uh, I highly suggest you read that book. You will have so many shifts about the way you think. You will learn exactly how your brain works. And I'll give you a quick tip before I go forward. Your brain does not understand the difference between reality and imagination. So whatever you think is very important. Your self-talk is very important. But that was the mindset shifts that I started to have. I had to start thinking like, future flip. Who did I want to be in 6 months? What kind of actions would that person take? And people might think, oh, that's some woo-woo shit, Flip. But I'm telling you, if you want to, succeed and be ready to accept what's going to happen, you got to start future pacing and thinking about future you. Like, what kind of person do you want to be in 6 months? and start taking those actions today, because it's so easy to get overwhelmed and worried about what other people think about you, and that's going to hold you
Yeah.
back, and you will keep in that same cycle spinning your wheels over and over again. So that was a little shift that I went through before you start making money and impact.
Good stuff, man. I mean, I've not directly read, but I was part of the book club for psycho-cybernetics, so we went through each chapter. So it's a pretty solid book. It's kind of a workbook altogether with thesis in it. So it's really deep on that front. You know what? I have Brett. Hey, Brett, how are you doing, Mike? And he's put up a course that I have got the same issue, and I'm thinking what Brett is meaning here. And Brett, correct me if I'm wrong. Is about uh, posting on personal profile, is that you are hitting to, or is it about in general mindset? I mean, let me know, because yeah, posting in personal profile, I'll give you my viewpoint, and then let Flip cover that, because I was pretty raw. I didn't really have to think too much about it, because I was so clear in my head that I was doing this for me and my family, and I didn't really care, because if you are in my group and you are on my Facebook, whether it's if it is my family, my friends, or my relationship, and yeah, okay, what does it say? Sorry, I just picked it. Family thinking I'm a psycho with Facebook. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm coming to. I mean, then I was like, if they're my real family and if they're my real friends, they should be pretty cool with what I'm doing.
Yep.
Okay. And they should be pretty good. And if they're not, they probably should not be there. I'm pretty straight about it. And people learn my family that, hey, it doesn't bother me. If you're either you're here or you're not here, whether it's your social life or real life, it doesn't really change anything for me. So I just went head on. I know this is a very raw raw way of doing it. I did not have to, my switch was already flipped. Let's put it that way. Okay. But I know it requires an inner work. I have spoken to a lot of people who are really not comfortable moving their personal profile into something that sells. But and I always tell them that you're not really selling any which ways. You're not really coming out and proposing people to come out and buy and take offers every now and then. You're there trying to put value out there and doing what you really want to do. Okay, something that you really are passionate about. Because and that's going back to the earlier stuff that I was talking. If you're not here, that people enter with the concept of making money. So either you're trying to make money on Facebook or anywhere else. Yeah, what do you call it? I remember somebody talking about it, calling it the sales breath. It's like a sales breath. If you have a sales breath, then it's an issue anywhere, not just Facebook.
Yep.
Okay? I mean, that's my view. I will throw this up to Flip and let him give his viewpoint, and probably some ways to tackle it, if you the way you tackle it.
Yep. So I'll tell you, I've done something that a lot of people won't do as far as what Brett, which is a great question too, because I did get a lot of backlash from friends and some of my family. I even got backlash from my father. Now, my dad, I respect him. He helped me out in a lot of different areas, got me out of a lot of trouble as a youngin, and he he told me, he was like, you need to go get a job and stop worrying about that internet shit. He said, you got other things to think about. And it hit me wrong for about 10 seconds. And I was like, you know what? I was like, my dad he's old school. All he knows is hard work, 401k, hope to retire. And I've, for a while now, I haven't thought like that, just because of what I've seen and all that. So what I did was I took a couple hours and I went and I deleted friends, family, all negative people off of my profile, because, like Barack said, I'm so clear about what I want to do. I don't give a shit about what people think. Like, I know deep down why I want to do it, for my friends, for my family, for my kids, so I can be there, impact other people, and of course, make a nice income. So I was ready to push everybody to the side. And if they didn't want to deal with me, then, like he said, I don't need them anyway because I know where my heart's at. So I knew that I had to put everything to the side, put my blinders on, and post like, uh, how did I want to word that? I wanted to post speaking to the person that I used to be because I had those mental blocks. So when I write a post, sometimes I'll often, uh, post like I would talk to my old self because I was that guy like, this is some bullshit. I ain't gonna never be able to do this. But it was all a mindset thing. So hopefully that answered Brett's question. I'll get pumped up and in the zone and ramble and jump around. So my bad for that.
No, that's good stuff, man, and that's exactly the thought process that was required. And I mean, the thinking is, why did freaking Facebook pay you for being there? Come on, I mean,
Yeah.
if that's the case, then we're going to be very worried about Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and 10,000 other apps where everywhere we are and people judging. So, yeah, so Brett says that's a good flip. Yeah, it is, man. I mean, yeah, don't give a shit, man. I mean, it's like, yeah, sometimes you get people who say, hey, I don't like you. I said, hey, you know what? Just call me. But do you have a number? If you don't, then you really don't know me that well. So just fuck off. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the brutal truth about
That's
those
it.
stuff. Uh, Good stuff, man. Okay, and hey, again, people, if you are on live, just put hashtag live. And if you're going to watch this on replay, just put hashtag replay and give access to your StreamYard. Next time, I'm going to put a banner running down there so it will make a lot more easier. Get smarter. All right, mate, let's get to the juicy part and your journey to making 11,000 in 5 weeks. And I know it's not just 11,000, there's more you probably would have done after that, and there's things that you have done before that, but this is something that just hit bam. So let people know how do you move from a $23 mentality to get to an $11,000 mentality, okay? Because that might be a good 2 months income for someone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. Hey, Facebook user, I can see you. Great content. Thanks, mate. Whoever you are, just give access to StreamYard, and then we can see your name. Sorry, Ben, flip back to you for your juicy stuff.
I wanted to throw this back at Brett too because a couple weeks ago I sent my dad a screenshot of some of my bigger commissions. It was a couple grand, and I told him, I said, "Can I take you out to lunch with that stupid internet money?" I had to do it.
But I read your post this morning, man. So yeah, I mean, there's something good you did, so keeping you where you were for some days. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how I transitioned and kind of just like came out of nowhere. So this is going to be good for people that have started to see some sales or they haven't seen any yet. So most people think you have to have really high engagement. Though engagement is good, it is not the most important if your marketing message is on point. You might not get but 5, 10, 20 comments and a very few likes, but people are still reading your stuff even if they don't engage on it. So don't let that discourage you, for one. That was something that Jacob told me many times. So keep that in mind. Don't worry about engagement. Just make sure that your messaging is on point. The next thing I would say is back in February, I caught one of Jamie's lives, and I haven't been inside that program, but for about 7 months now, I think, something like that. And I caught one of Jamie's lives, and I took him up on his offer. His offer was to make more offers. It doesn't matter if it's an offer to join your Facebook group, it's an offer to jump on a triage call. If you got a question about that, let me know because this is a good strategy. I'll talk about that in a second. But it doesn't matter what kind of call to action you have, but just make more offers. It could be for a low ticket product you have, or the high ticket, or just to jump on a call. But make at least one offer every day, some way, form, or fashion. And be genuine when you're talking to people. I know that sounds like, well, that's so bland, Flip. We need to give value and, be genuine. I'm serious. I don't go into hardly hardly any conversations with intent to sell because I just separate myself from the outcome. I know that I'm getting on a triage call or a call in general to help this person. And then and only then will I know exactly how I can help them. And then I'll know if
Yeah.
my offer is for them. And then I'll ask permission. Like, hey, cool, look, everything you've told me, I've got something that will fix everything you've talked about and more. I was like, but I don't wanna I don't wanna, tell you about it unless you want to hear about it. And that
Yeah.
will create curiosity, like, okay, this guy might be able to fix all of my problems. And then they
Yeah.
want to hear it. And that's permission for
Yeah.
you to throw your offer out there. So that was one thing. And I just started gaining more momentum. And some of the sales I've made, from my coaching and, from my high ticket stuff is people that I had already talked to. They reached back out, or they read a piece of my content that I didn't think they were reading, and I just rekindled that relationship. So my philosophy around this whole thing is relationship over revenue. If you build the relationship, the revenue will follow. But you have to be willing to put the work in and build that relationship in order to get to the revenue. I hope that wasn't too crazy.
No, not really. And I think there's some solid points that you mentioned. One thing that you said is keep posting. Okay, keep posting to your relevant audience. And I think that this happens a lot, that people go after vanity metrics and they say that, hey, this other guy has like 100 comments on his post and I didn't get a shit. There are like three people talking and nobody. But those 100 people are not your audience. And that's the most important thing to understand, because what is the use of having 100 people who are not going to buy from you? Because if, and like it or not, you're not running a non-profit organization. But if you want to do that, then yeah, man, go and post good morning messages and good evening messages and all that. And people love that. And they like the bright blue sky. But that's good once in a while. But if you're running a business, then you need people who are going to really buy from you.
Yes.
And if your post is relevant to them, then only serious people are going to come and look at your post and reach out. That's so pretty critical to understand. Don't stop. You got to show up every day, because this is real business. This is not a hobby, because your post does not click. That's why the next day you don't turn up. Don't do that. Huge. And I think the offer thing that you mentioned is another huge thing, because I can bet on this that a lot of people don't make offers. I mean, uh, I think, I don't know if anybody's here from the team who are there. If they, I mean, people, I mean, whoever is in the line, do you really make, how many offers do you make over a week?
How many do
Okay,
I
I
make?
would really love to. Yeah, how many offers do people make? Or not you, but I'm trying to get to see the two people on the line and want to understand if they are making offers over a week, because I know I've asked this question in the group and I know people don't. And one of the things I've heard people saying is it's a bit salesy. Uh, but the but the point is, yeah, you are selling. I'm not saying you're not selling, but the way you're doing is by delivering value first and then eventually selling, because this is the business. So accept it. I think there's another thing about acceptance, where people uh, are in the game, but they won't want to wear the jersey. Okay. Now that doesn't work, right? I mean, if you're a part of the game, you need to wear your jersey and show up. Okay, but just don't have a sales threat and just do it more often. Can you elaborate more about the offer part? Because I think people might like to get a bit more deeper view into when you say make offers, because it's obviously not having the whole list of benefits and bonuses and coaching and that. What is that you meant? If you could elaborate more for the people, that would be nice. I mean, how do you make those offers?
Yeah. So if you go back, like say someone goes to my profile, you'll see that nine times out of 10, I'm going to have some kind of call to action. It might be to reach out and have a chat. It might be to book a call. It might be to join my group, or it might be to comment to get more info around a lead magnet. So
Yeah,
generally, I just want to help people. So if I'm in a conversation I've been having with someone, and here's where a lot of people get hung up. They go into Messenger and they'll instantly try to dig like, hey, what are you struggling with online? Which is a very direct approach, but at the same time, you're going to come off salesy. So typically, I'll just try and talk about, business or life in general, talk about a little
yeah,
bit of life. That's that little bit of rapport. And I'll kind of see what they're doing. And I will offer like, hey, if you want, I'll send you something that helped me. Um, and I might even go and create the video before sending it. This will go
yeah,
back to the triage call. Most people think about offers as, hey, buy my shit. But no, an offer
yeah,
could just be to jump on a quick call, a triage call, which is usually like 10 to 15 minutes, where you try and help someone get a quick win in their business with what they're doing. That will help build the know, like, and trust. Like, all right, well, this guy jumped
absolutely.
on a call with me and, he just helped me out for free for 15 minutes. And you'd be surprised if, say, they're struggling with, generating leads, and you're really good at generating leads, and you'd be like, hey, I can send you a 5-minute clip on the quickest way to start generating more qualified leads. Go and create that video, and then send it to them in Loom or a screen recording software, and go over it in detail for 5 minutes, step by step. You know, are you willing to spend 5 minutes making a video, to potentially have another customer or client? So look at the end goal. If you genuinely try to help people and build that know, like, and trust, they will be more quickly to do business with you in the future.
Awesome, man. That's people are getting value here. This was a really, really solid advice. I don't think a lot of people do this. Okay, I mean, this is solid, man. I mean, make a video. How much time does it take to actually, instead of chatting to someone for 50 minutes, just simply make a video, give them what you want, because give them what they want because you know how to do it. And that's what is gonna get them closer to you, make them relate to you, and then don't go with the concept of sale. Just go out and help because you will be, or you are in some point where you're looking for help. Because if you're here today, you're looking for help as well in some or the other way. Because if I had like $50 billion in my account, I would not be here on this call today. Let's be very real about it. So everybody freaking needs help. So give help. That's how you get help. You more, that's what you get more. Simple as that. If you don't get this right, because and I think the strategy that Philip mentioned is awesome. It's really time saving as well. Get on the call, give them some video, do that. I mean that's gold, man. I mean that's good, really good stuff. I think this puts on to probably looking at a bit more tactical about the stuff. So how do you do your day flip today? I mean, without giving out any of your secret sauce, but what are the things that you think anybody who's in the affiliate marketing or for say high ticket marketing that the needle movers for them today that they have to do? Okay, like one, two, four things that they have to do.
Let's see. Most important is content. It doesn't matter if it's, like text, like a Facebook post,
Yeah,
a YouTube
yeah.
video, some kind of content that is going to provide some kind of value. So I'm kind of, I'm kind of, I'm wanting to talk about a few things, but content is most important. I don't care where you put it, whether it's in your group, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. But content is
Yeah.
a must. And figure out what times that your audience is most active. I took, you can also repurpose the video. 100%, 100%. That's what I do. So that's really good, Brett. I'm glad you took that away. Uh, Most important things, that if you're not bringing more people into your world, then you're not going to generate any new leads. So I don't know if people
Yeah.
overlook this part, but When you're adding friends from wherever you're adding them, you're wanting them to come into your world of your Facebook profile and start reading your content that you're posting. So when you add them and you initially have a conversation, it could be like, hey, thanks for accepting my friend request. Hope you're doing well. Just don't even worry about selling. Just build a relationship. And then
Yeah.
after you start that conversation, that's going to put them in line to see your content. That's where your marketing message comes into play because that's how it's basically a funnel without being a complicated funnel. You're just making sure they see your stuff. And if your stuff is on point and you're talking to your ideal person and they happen to be one of them, they're going to love your shit 100% and more likely to reach out, or the next time you have a conversation, uh, it's going to be a lot warmer and easier to talk about business because they see your stuff. So that's one thing, content. Two, make sure you're starting your conversations every day. I don't care if you just say, hey, how's the weather? You get a conversation started and
Yeah.
think about how you were when you had people, instantly pitching you. You don't want to come off as salesy and you don't want to be pitched immediately. So don't do that to the people that you're talking to. Um, let's see, and track your numbers. Okay, this is another thing that I started doing in February that started to show me how much I sucked when it came to tracking stuff. You want to
Yeah.
make sure you're tracking how many friend requests you send, how many
Yeah.
conversations you start, how many triage calls did you get on, how many people did you make an offer to? Are you following up with those people that you made offers to? Those are very important needle movers in your business. Like I have people now that I have to follow up with. And to give you an idea, I followed up with two people that I had sent an offer to. And they were like, "Yeah, I need to jump back on a call with you this week to ask some questions." So now they're totally warm. So I'll
Yeah.
get on the phone, make sure 100% that it's a good fit for them, because I've
Yeah.
turned people down that had money. They're like, "Yeah, I'm ready to buy," but the vibe that I got from them, I don't want to work with those people. So don't be afraid to say no. That's important. Most
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, he's got money. I want to take his money." No, I only want to
Yeah.
work with people that are kind of like me and just are motivated. So that's another big deal. But those are some high level needle movers in your business, man. I hope I answered your question.
No, good stuff. I mean, that's cool, right? I mean, so if people you're listening, you probably would have heard a lot of this stuff before. So there is no magic happening here. The things are changing in the little things, like those triage calls, like those videos, like those saying no more often. I mean, you don't want somebody that is gonna haunt you eventually, and that's gonna be a problem. So I mean, this is huge. I mean, and some of the tasks that I do on top of, and I know the Flip does as well, is add more people, have more connection. Because if you don't have more people, I mean, if you're running organic, then you gotta have a lot more conversation, and you gotta have a lot more friends added, and not just random people, people who are your targeted audience, people who are probably your prospective customers, or like Flip was saying early on, his content is for the person, him 3 years back. Okay, so those are your customers. Where would you be hanging out? So get really targeted. And one of the huge things that he mentioned, which again I know a lot of people don't do, is track. This is real business, my friends, and I cannot repeat that again. This is not a hobby. Take it as a real business. If you were running a brick and mortar store, would you know how many customers walked in, how many customers bought, how many customers did not buy, how many customers are in the list for follow-ups? The same applies here. How many people are you talking to daily? How many people should you talk to daily? Okay, if you want to make $10,000 a month, then you need to do the back maths of how many people are you going to talk on a daily level, so that there is a conversion that happens that will get you to that 10,000. How much that does that translate to you on a daily amount? So there is a maths. I don't want to go up and solve the maths here, but yeah, hit me up. I think there's a session we did early on in the group about the maths. There's a post out there as well. I'll send it over to you. But it's super important to track everything that you're doing. And one of the things is which which I think is testing and trying. Okay, don't be afraid to test and try stuff. It's all right. I mean, there are best practices out there. Post every day, results, value, lifestyle, engagements, adding friends, Facebook story, da, 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 all that is good stuff. But do not worry about going crazy and testing stuff that you think might work. Just do it. Okay, all this stuff is not just God did not give us commandments. People made it up because they tried and tested. So try and test things. You never know what works for you, and that can be your secret sauce. That is how things have worked out. Go out, test your comment, test your post, test your content, every other thing. Something works better than just keep doing it. And I can without closing my eyes tell you that probably on this call also I'm doing some sort of testing and trial that what could I do better the next time. While Flip is on the other side, you would be thinking that I should probably do something different next time around. So it's always going. It should always go on the back of your head. Okay. So that's what it is all about. All right, people. I want to take a quick pause and see if I can see that people who have come in and gone. Hey, Tanmay, how are you, man? Good to have you. Is there any questions right now on the thread? I know there are not a lot of people on live right now. People will probably catch up on replay. So, people, if you catch up on replay, and don't worry about it, just drop your questions in there. If there are questions for Flip, I will get those to him, and he can answer that. He can probably record a video and send it over to you.
Absolutely.
Okay? So let's make it that way. So if there are any questions in the group, just throw that in right away.
Yeah, and I want to take a second to say that when you start making more offers and it totally flops, do not let that bother you, because I still put out offers that I won't get any kind of bite on whatsoever. And of course, we all think our offers are good, but you're going to have people that just are not going to want to do that. So use that as the testing phase, like Bharat said. That's all this really is. Because what got me to 11K in 5 days is testing. And when I found something that worked, from everything I tracked, I knew exactly what to go back and do again. That's the power of tracking your stuff, because I backtracked and saw exactly what I did, exactly how I did it, when I did it, and why I did it. So then I could repeat the process. And that led me to, pretty much back-to-back sales and back-to-back people that were ready to go to work. So keep that in mind. Throw offers out. Test. Don't be afraid for it to flop. You can go back and look at my stuff on my profile. I had stuff that only got 2 or 3 or 4 likes, hardly no comments. And I was like, all right, well, that sucked. Let's try again tomorrow.
So I'll give some food for thought, people. I mean, let's do a simple maths, okay? Let's do a quick maths of how important making offers are for. And like we covered earlier on, if you joined in late, just go back and look at the replay for what we spoke earlier. But imagine you're making 7 offers, okay? Not less, not more. 7 offers over the week. Soft offers, hard offers, a mix of it. And your target today is to, let's say, make it's a $5,000 a month, okay? And your high ticket offer pays you $1,000 or $1,250, what that pay? Let's say $1,000. That means you need one person buying one time from you, and that pays $2,000. Now you make a kick-ass post that you think is gonna, break the ceiling, and everybody's gonna come jumping on your offer, and you get crickets. And then you do the other one, and then you do, and then you get one person showing his hand up, and then more cricket, and then you go to the next one, you probably get one or two, and then you do the next one, you probably get one or two, and so on. And you have like probably 6, 7 people who have hand raised on your offer. So that is good. That is excellent because you actually, because people who have hand raised, they have a genuine interest. They are problem aware. And there are people who are coming to you. If your content is right, if your offer was hitting the right people, then you probably have 5 customers out there. If you go through the process right and you close them, and that takes you to your $5,000. You don't really need 50 people saying, hey, on your LinkedIn post. I know there are people who are doing kick-ass business online right now, and you go and read their post and you see people putting hashtag offers, hashtag, and 10, and you're like, fuck, nobody looks at my post at all. No, you're wrong. If you are not focusing on that one person who's in your offer, you're already losing a lot of business. You're leaving a lot of money on the table. You don't even know. Okay? Because understand, while we are doing a lot of quantity by adding a lot of people, but this is still a quality game. You don't need a lot of people to make that buck. You don't need 100 people or 400 people like what Low Ticket would have been. You just need a couple of people, a couple of clients who are going to work with you. So make more offers, make more regularly, and follow up with those people that you're working with. Go through that journey. Don't get waved around by all the good stuff that's happening around you. I mean, the people who are doing great numbers. Yeah, don't worry about that. Okay. So yeah, I mean that's the awful stuff. Hey, let me look at the live. Yeah, we are already 48 minutes down, right? And I wanna quickly take some head on with you. I mean, there are people obviously here who are either in the affiliate journey, and in this group, the people who are there who are in the affiliate journey, or the people who are starting or planning to start into some sort of business. Okay. Now, what is your, I mean, out of your journey, and what is your take that they should focus, like your top 2 or 3 things that you will suggest for people who are starting and the people who are struggling currently in their journey? I'll just hold on for a minute. There's somebody who's just posted. Let me just push it up there. Well, here in the Iceland, this is business is unknown. We are very old school, beaten in our heads to work and work, study to work easier, but still so much people fuss at me when I mention I don't plan on doing labor for the man. I get laughed in my face, and my parents think I just need to soften up and work. So this platform is something I want to introduce here. Awesome. Awesome. You are at the right place. And trust me, when you say that, it's not just Ireland. When it's not just Iceland, where I come from, and a lot of people. I mean, we have bought by the stigma or dogma or whatever you call it, the society where we were supposed to do things in a certain way. I mean, I was asked to study for 16 years, and I did that, whether I liked it or not. I hated my gut when I had to go and study. I still don't like reading books. I listen to them on Audible, okay? but that was the wrong choice because they gave me the wrong books to read. So that's the tricky problem. So that's the thing. We still don't teach people in the school how to make money. We tell them how to focus, but we don't teach them how to focus. We just tell them, focus on your study. But how the heck does someone focus? We don't teach them. So good stuff. By the way, I still don't know who you are, Facebook user. I'm just guessing it's you, Maria. But if not, just give access to StreamYard. Mike, before we even go to your 3 pointers, do you want to put some stuff on what is Icelander mentioned here?
Yes, I do actually. So with that comment, nobody is, that you said that business is unknown. That is the platform that we would all want to find. So this gives you the stage to set it and educate these people around this business model. And if you don't have any results to leverage, I'm pretty sure you can find some to leverage of other people to let them know what is possible. Right now, I'll give you a piece of content to write just off of your comment. You said that everybody is in the mind frame of working hard. That's a belief that they need broken down because you said you're not going to be working for the man. So use that comment and the people that you said are just stuck in their own ways. Use that platform right there. That is your stage to step on and say, hey, if you're thinking like this, I want to challenge your way of thinking. Here's, ABC amount of people that are already not working for the man and possibly making even more money than you are while you're working for the man. I get backlash on social media on certain platforms of people that are just stuck in their own way of thinking. It might be one out of 100 people, and I just talk to them exactly like I'm talking now. I was like, hey, that's your own perspective. I try not to be a dick until other people are dicks. They're like, oh, well, why don't you just go get a job? I just showed my boss this, and he slapped me and handed me my paycheck. So I'll be a dick and say this happened yesterday. I was like, yeah, well, you don't have to take that kind of abuse at the workplace, and I don't have a boss. There you go. So that gave him something to think about. But anyways, you have a perfect platform to jump on and educate the people around you in your area, and all you have to do is break down their limiting beliefs around how they think. If you can change one thing around the way that they think, like what would your life look like in 2 months if you took an hour a day aside from your job to work on personal development or learning a new skill? I mean, would you be up to potentially not have to work the job that you are? Nobody's thinking like that. It's so many people that are stuck in the workplace. They just think this is what I have to do. This is what my mom told me I have to do. This is 2021, guys. Y'all better get with it or get left behind.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I mean, and I'll tell you this: this is not just about brick and mortars and traditional businesses. I got whooped on my head, okay, and I'll tell you this: I used to make close to 250K a year back, okay, in my corporate job, fancy salary. Anybody would take my job today if I had to offer it. But I don't. but again, when I did the back calculation, I I was making I was working for what six and a half, $700 a day technically, and then I made poof $1,000 in 28 days. After 28 days in affiliate marketing, okay, first $1,000 in a day, and that like
Yeah.
that was yeah, that's like first I just made in 28 days with affiliate marketing $1,000. That's more than what I was earning after working for 2 decades. 2 freaking decades. If you tell me this stuff doesn't work and I have to give another 5 years, I'm going to give it happily with a smile because I still saved 15 freaking years. No shit. No freaking shit. This is real stuff. So, I mean, if this stuff doesn't get into people's head, then yeah, I can't help people. But yeah, but this is what it is. So, don't even think twice. And otherwise, if people still don't want to listen to you, then just show them your numbers eventually. Just show them your check. Say, hey, here it is, just for fun. Let's play with ice. And they're gonna feel it eventually because yeah, if you close eyes, it doesn't get dark. It's light out there. Simple as that.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, getting emotions flowing in here. We'll probably stop talking here. Okay, so I'll come back to the three things, right? And sorry to put you there on the spot, but whatever that comes to your mind, I think from your perspective.
So your question was 3 things to make sure you do every day.
No, I am saying that anybody who's starting out today, okay, anybody who's thinking starting out in affiliate or high ticket business, what are the three things that they should be thinking about? I mean, one of the things is something we discussed right now, the possibilities, I think. I mean, hats off. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, what is that stuff in the mind that should be there? Because I'm hitting hard on the mindset that will get people in. Okay.
So I'm gonna read you one of my favorite quotes. I'm gonna recite
Okay.
it actually. Anyone who's thinking about starting, this is something that you need to think about because more than likely you're in a state of mind where you don't know if this can work. You've never done it before. You're nervous, you're scared, and you're thinking, what if I fail? Okay? You gotta you gotta turn that around. You need to be thinking like, what if I win? What if I succeed? What'll happen if I don't try? So one of my favorite quotes is, "The cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek." Play that back if you need to listen to it. But the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. I was scared. I was the most skeptical person when it came to buying anything online. I I hated Amazon with a passion and didn't trust them for the longest time. I'm telling you, okay? I'm telling you, I'm a country boy from Virginia. I go sit in the woods and kill stuff to eat. All right, that's who I am. Like I love the outdoors, man of God, all that good stuff. But I was skeptical, okay? I was skeptical about buying any kind of training. And now I'm quick to do it. If it's gonna change the way I think or my processes, I'm so quick. Like even though I just had a great week, I've already dropped another grand on, more coaching. That that right there should be like, whoa, this guy just made, this amount of money. He's still investing. Yes, I will be a forever student. I don't care what level I'm at. I will always be willing to level up, invest in myself. And before long, I'll probably have, 100 grand invested in myself. But I'm not knocking anybody that works a 9 to 5. I'm not knocking anybody that works or goes to college. I'm simply saying this is how I think because I went to college, I got kicked out, I worked a job, I got fired, I worked a job, I quit, all that. So all I'm telling you to think about is, would you rather spend $1,000 to $2,000 and learn something that could potentially put you in a completely different place in 3, 6, or 12 months? Or does it make more sense to spend 20 or 40 grand on 4 to 5 years of college and hope that you have a job in your market? That's a mindset shift that you should be thinking about if you're about to start. Another thing to keep in mind is make sure you vet, whatever training or program you're about to go in. Make sure that it aligns with who you are as a person and make sure it's gonna, get with Barack. He can tell you just as quick as I can how to tell if it's a high quality training, whatever. But you just need to be in that mindset and separate yourself from instant gratification. Okay? You're not going to get rich tomorrow. You're not going to get rich next week. You are going to build skills that will pay you over time. Think about yourself 6 months from now. And I pulled this out because it's on my desk. If you can read that, that is my vision map. This is my morning formula. This is my map for the day. I read this almost every morning. I'm not going to say every morning because some days I'm inconsistent, just like everybody else. But my morning formula, it consists of future me, who I want to be 6 months from now. So obviously, when I hit my goals, I have to update it. But it's got, principles that I follow, goals that I have, and like on this page, I'll show it a little bit. It just has what I do every day. I'll try and you might have to pause it to read that, but it just shows what I try to do every day. Make my coffee. I get up. I'll go outside, clear my head. I'll spend 10 minutes practicing gratitude. But these are things you need to get a daily routine, if you will, to help get you in the mode of doing things. Because I know my man here will tell you some days you don't feel like doing anything, but you still need to do it.
Yeah, man, that's. I mean, what you said is huge. I think there are two things that I also want to touch on. And by the way, when you pull up that vision, see that's funny. Like there's one
See?
line next to me. It's
Yeah.
always there with me, and there's a whole freaking book. I mean, like it or not, I have a book which is like close to 80 pages. It's like my life book, and it has everything. And I probably should do a session on that stuff. That's
Yeah.
going to be a good session of how do you balance different things in life and make it work for you. Because if you can dream, and if you can see it, and if you work towards it, then you can hold it in your hands, and that's the reality. Okay, because if you're not even seeing it and dreaming about it, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And one of the big things about fear, and this is something I strongly believe that you're going to understand that fear and faith, these both of these stuff are made of the freaking same material. They are the same material. They both are your imagination. They are the stuff that's not happening yet. It is the stuff that is going to happen in the future. Made of same material, stuff with your imagination. That's something that's going to happen in the future. Now, fear can put you down. It can destroy you. It can stop you from getting to the next level and leave you miserable in the same situation that you are today, because that's how you started in your past, okay? And that's how your future will look like. But if you go with future, or you go with faith for that matter, that's gonna transform your life. It's just a shift in your thinking. It can raise you. It will give you a lot of doors for you. It can create possibilities beyond your imagination and take you out of that belief system that you have. When we talk about limiting beliefs or all that stuff, it all pumps out for the stuff which is fear. But that's so funny if you think about it. Both are freaking imagination. Oh, I might fall down. But you haven't fucking fallen down. What if you did not? If everybody was thinking that way, nobody would have climbed the Mount Everest. We would not have a roller coaster ride ever in our life, or probably not even talking on the phone, because we would probably die with phone blasting over years, but we still do it. Okay, so get this stuff out of your head and take that chance on life. Take that chance on your own self, because you're just one, right? And you just gotta your time is ticking, man. I mean, it's always ticking. From the time you're born, it's ticking. You don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. What you have is just today, right now. So make most of what you do here, and move beyond your fears. Anyways, so yeah, I mean that's what it is. So get people rolling. I hope you guys have found value in this conversation. We've gone beyond an hour. I don't want to keep waiting there. His kid's gonna jump out of the door, crashing on the call now any moment. So if you find value, just put hashtag value. If you have any other questions for Flip or for me, just put that in the comments, and I will flip it over to Flip. I love the name Flip because I can use it in so many different names every time. So just send it over, and people answer those. And if there's anything for me, you know where to find me. Thank you so much, Mike. This was an excellent interview. There's a lot of things to learn, and so much to learn. And I hope people got a lot of value here and things that they can do. And if somebody is stuck right now, it is possible. And every day it's happening. So, like it says behind Flip's wall, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Let this be your one step to move forward. Thank you, and we're gonna end this call. Have a wonderful day, wonderful time wherever you are. Goodbye. Thanks,
Thanks,
Mike.
guys. I really appreciate it. I'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Yeah. All right. That was a good call. Let me just quickly check if we are off the broadcast.